You're not coming to the wedding, Mom texted. Lily's family doesn't want you there. No explanation, no apology, just a gray bubble filled with silence louder than words. I read it twice, then once more. My coffee sat untouched beside me, growing cold. I typed back, so you chose status over blood. No emojis, no sarcasm, just fact. Then I opened my laptop, logged into the wedding planner account, and canceled the venue deposit. It was under my name, paid with my card. They never even knew. And the best part? It was non-refundable. I shut the laptop and leaned back in my chair. I wasn't angry, not yet, not sad, either. Just still, like something inside me had finally stood up and walked away. This wasn't the first time they pushed me aside. Not this directly, but in the small ways. The missed birthdays they blamed on group chat glitches. The eye rolls when I spoke up at dinner. Lily becoming the golden child while I remained just Jack, always useful, always silent. I booked the dress boutique, negotiated the catering deal, found a luxury Airbnb when Zach's parents hated the first, designed their save the date site from my own Canva account. But now, I was a liability. Because Lily's dad didn't like my energy. Because I wore black to brunch. Because I asked where the missing $3,000 in catering funds went and didn't just trust them when they brushed it off. They loved me when I was useful. Needed me until they didn't. So, I took a deep breath, opened our shared folder Lily Zach Wedding Planning and deleted every single one of the 63 files I uploaded. Then I renamed the folder, Good Luck Without Me. No warnings, no texts, no calls. Let them find out when the florist doesn't answer. When the photographer doesn't show. When the venue emails, this reservation has been cancelled by the account holder. They expected me to stay silent. Smile, swallow it. But this wasn't about a wedding. This was the final crack in a structure that's been rotting for years. They handed me the scissors, thinking I wouldn't cut the string. Well, wish granted. They just didn't expect me to take everything with me. And I was only getting started. If you ask them, I'm dramatic, too sensitive, overreactive. So let me tell you how I got here. 6 months ago, Friday night, Lily called me crying. Zach had just been laid off. Their rent was overdue by 3 months. Eviction papers were on the table. I wired $3,800 without hesitation. It wasn't the first time. Earlier that year, $5,000 to Dad to fix a retirement fund mistake. Damage fees from Lily's bachelorette Airbnb, which Mom forgot was on my credit card. I kept screenshots, spreadsheets, not to use against them, just to prove to myself I wasn't imagining it. They took, and I gave. Time, energy, money, always with a smile. And when I asked to be repaid, I was called selfish. Worse, invisible. Dad joked once, while I was fixing gutters in a storm, that I should be a house husband. Said I wasn't man enough to be a breadwinner. They laughed. Even Lily. When she got engaged, I found out via FaceTime. My parents were on the couch behind her, cheering. They'd helped plan the proposal. Went ring shopping. Me, just Jack, watching from a screen. Still, I tried. I paid for the engagement shoot. Built the wedding website. Designed the invites. Even paid the venue deposit when Mom's card acted weird. And then came the whispers. Aunt Megan, is it true you're not invited to the ceremony? Uncle Jeff, did you upset Zach's dad somehow? Then, the Facebook post that broke me. A photo of Lily, Zach, and my parents. Caption, so proud of our family, can't wait for the big day with all the right people. The right people. I wasn't even tagged. Someone commented, is Jack going to be there? He was always so funny. Lily replied, we're keeping it small, just people we trust. People we trust. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went back through every receipt, every unanswered Venmo request. Every time they said I was dramatic for simply asking where the money went. And it hit me. I was the only one who gave without expecting anything, and the only one who got nothing in return. A week later, a group text landed. Hi, family, can everyone pitch in for Lily's bridal shower decor? Jack, can you make an RSVP site since you're great with that stuff? Hugs. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, Lily messaged me. Can you just do this one thing without being passive aggressive? So I did something else instead. I logged into the venue portal and filed a family conflict claim. I'd added wedding insurance just in case. They refunded 90% of the $2,500 deposit. Then I opened Canva, deleted every design I'd ever made, and created one new file. Asked Zach's dad to fix this, shared it with the entire family. That's when everything exploded. Mom called, sobbing, "Do you know how this makes us look?" "I do," I said. "That's why I'm doing it." Then Dad called, already yelling, "You've always been jealous of Lily, that's what this is." I hung up. And that night, I turned off my phone. Let them scramble. Let them spin the story. Because I'm done being the family's backup plan. They wanted me out of the picture. They just didn't expect me to take the whole frame with me. Lily posted a vague Instagram story. Betrayal always comes from those closest to you. Then Mom followed up with a photo of Lily crying. Captioned, "Nothing hurts more than your own brother trying to ruin your special day." My inbox lit up. Texts from friends, cousins. Some asked, "Are you okay?" Most didn't. They just asked, "Why would you ruin her wedding?" I didn't respond. Then the package came. A plain yellow envelope, no return address. Inside, printed screenshots, messages from Lily's group chat with her bridesmaids. Lily, laughing, "We'll get Jack to pay for the cake too. Just guilt him about being the only brother. Works every time." Another one, "Zach doesn't even like him. Says Jack gives him the creeps. LOL. And the final dagger, "He won't be at the wedding. I'll make sure of it. Watch." Taped to the front was a sticky note. "You deserve better, K." I didn't know who K was, but I would find out. And when I did, everything changed. Because K didn't just have screenshots. K had audio. And the moment I heard it, I knew what I was going to do at Lily's rehearsal dinner. The venue was 30 minutes outside the city, a pretentious vineyard wrapped in fairy lights and marketing buzzwords like rustic luxury. I wasn't there to eat. I was there to end the show. I walked in as they were mid-toast, Lily laughing, Zach's arm draped around her. Dad looked stiff. Mom avoided my eyes. They hadn't expected me to show up. I wasn't part of the family photo anymore. Just the villain in their story. But I wasn't bitter. I was finished. I walked to the front. Tapped my glass. The room went still. Lily's smile dropped. Zach straightened. I pulled a small Bluetooth speaker from my jacket and set it on the table, then held up a flash drive. Zach asked, "What are you doing?" "Giving you what you deserve," I said. Then I hit play. Lily's voice, crystal clear, "We'll get Jack to pay for the cake too. Just guilt him. Works every time." The silence was immediate. A gasp, a dropped fork. No one moved. Then another voice, "Zach doesn't even like him. Says he gives him the creeps." Zach paled. Lily lunged for the speaker. I stepped between her and the table. "Sit down." Not a request. Then the final clip, "He won't be at the wedding. I'll make sure of it. Watch." I hit pause. "Any questions?" I asked the room. Zach opened his mouth, then closed it. My father rose, red with fury. "You think this is appropriate?" I didn't even blink. "Sit down." And for once, he did. I looked at Lily. "I've spent over $11,000 on this wedding, designed your website, paid your florist, booked your venue, because I thought this was family." Her voice shook. "You don't understand." "No, you don't," I said. "You never wanted a brother. You wanted a credit card with emotions." I pulled out a folder. Hard evidence, texts, receipts, emails, screenshots of her calling me the family's free wedding planner. I handed it to Zach. "You still want to marry her?" He didn't answer. Then a woman at the back of the room stood. Gray coat, badge, calm voice. "Hi, sorry to interrupt. I'm Kristen. Jack and I used to work together and I run a digital forensics agency." She looked directly at Lily. "He asked me to verify the audio. No edits, no AI, pulled straight from a WhatsApp backup tied to your old number. I have the metadata." Lily's face crumpled. Mom gasped. Dad barked, "Is this a joke?" Kristen smiled. Not even a little. Then came the final blow. Zach turned to Lily. You told me Jack threatened you, that he was unstable. You lied. She grabbed his arm. Zach, don't touch me. The room exploded. My aunt yelled. A glass hit the floor. Mom tried to speak but couldn't. And I just stood there. Silent, steady, watching it all burn. Then, as the chaos reached its peak, I raised my voice. I'm not coming to the wedding. You made that decision. Now you get to live with it without my help, my money, or my silence. I turned to my parents. You cut me off the moment I stopped being your puppet. So I'm cutting the strings. And just as I turned to leave, Zach said, I'm calling it off. Lily screamed. Sharp, raw. You can't do this here. Oh, I said, he just did. Then I walked out. No applause, no dramatic score. Just the sound of a house of lies crashing behind me. I didn't drive home that night. Didn't even take the highway. Instead, I headed north, back roads only. A month earlier, I'd signed a lease on a small cottage in a town no one remembered. Population, 600. One gas station, one diner, no expectations. No one knew me there. That was the point. 6 months paid in advance. No forwarding address. No trail to follow. The first 3 days, I turned off my phone. No emails, no texts. Just me, a thermos of coffee, and the sound of birds arguing over land they didn't own. I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. No more guilt. No more manipulation masked as love. No more being a wallet dressed like a son. On day 4, I walked into town and signed up for something I'd always wanted but never dared. An archival preservation course at the local college. Old letters, dusty newspapers, forgotten stories. Finally, I was surrounded by things that told the truth and kept receipts. Just like I did. No, you owe us, that's what they wanted me to believe. But I had already left. I spent my days volunteering at the county museum, cataloging black and white photos from the 1950s, repairing a microfilm reader no one had touched in years. It didn't matter that no one noticed. It was mine. Quietly, solidly mine. Then the messages started. They hit my old Gmail inbox, the one tied to an emergency phone I rarely checked. Subject lines said enough. Can we just talk? You went too far. We're still family. Blocked calls followed, dozens. I never answered. They weren't reaching out to make peace. They were trying to reset the board. What scared them wasn't the truth I'd revealed. It was the silence that followed. For the first time, they weren't in control, and they didn't know what I'd do next. 3 weeks later, a court notice landed at my former apartment. My father had tried to sell off a portion of family property. What he didn't realize. I'd locked the deed 2 years ago after he accidentally tried to remortgage it using my name. Left it in legal limbo, waiting. He triggered the trap himself. The sale fell through, the buyer walked. Then came the fraud investigation. Not because I set it up. Because I stopped protecting him. I didn't write a tell-all post. Didn't send receipts to the group chat. Didn't air the drama on social media. I just disappeared. No birthday calls. No Venmo bailouts. No maybe next time. And that, the absence, was what destroyed them. Because narcissists don't fear consequences. They fear being irrelevant. They fear an empty stage. One morning, I walked to the post office for a small package. Behind me, someone on the phone whispered. I heard Lily's fiancé walked out, and her brother vanished, took all his money with him. I didn't turn around. Didn't correct the story. Didn't insert myself back in. I simply remained unreachable. No address. No phone number. No access. They thought silence meant weakness. They didn't realize it was a decision, a surgical goodbye. Not with fireworks, but with absence. The kind that can't be manipulated. The kind that forces people to sit with the wreckage they created alone. They can't guilt me anymore. Can't call when the rent's late. Can't pretend we're fine because they need a favor. There's no we anymore. Just them. And a mailbox that says, no message received. You want to know what's funny? When you finally walk away from the people who built their lives on your back, they don't collapse immediately. They just stand there, confused, like someone muted the world, and they can't find the remote. That's what happened. After the rehearsal dinner, after the confrontation, after the silence, they still thought I'd come back. Because I always had. But this time, I didn't. I changed everything. Not just my number, my carrier, my country code. No SIM, no forwarding, no breadcrumbs. I closed the emergency account Dad once linked to me just in case, redirected every bank alert to an encrypted vault, removed every family name from legal documents, even updated my driver's license. Emergency contact, none. They don't know where I live, where I work, if I'm in the state, the country, or even above ground. And that kills them. A month ago, I went back, just once. Not to the house, not to the vineyard. I drove past the wedding venue, the one I canceled. It was empty, boarded up, a crooked for sale sign on the front gate, a wilted bouquet crushed in the gravel. It felt right. I rolled down the window. The air smelled like dust and regret. Then I walked up to the old mailbox at the entrance. Slipped in a small envelope. No return address. Inside, a printed invoice, the final one I paid for the wedding. And a yellow sticky note. Thanks for nothing. I don't check the old email often. But sometimes, I log in just to watch the flood. Unread subject lines pile up. Please just talk to us. We don't know who you are anymore. That one made me smile. Because they're right. I'm not the guy who answered 3 a.m. calls. Not the family fixer. Not the invisible sibling. Not the guilt-ridden son. I'm just a man with a new life. One they'll never find. Last week, I installed a new mailbox outside the cottage. Heavy, metal, lockable. One of those Dropbox where nothing comes back out. The technician asked what name I wanted engraved. I said, no name, just a message. So now, on a little brass plate below the keyhole, it says, this box does not accept apologies. And the silence? It finally sounds like peace.